Hi, past, present, and future homeowners. Welcome back to the final stretch of the Property Buyer's Guide, the Q&A session. So throughout our series, we've been receiving various questions from you, our viewers, and today we've invited Mrs. Susan Fick, who is the head of home loans from FNB, to answer some of these questions for us. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, Justina. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's dive right in. So can you tell us, is a home really an asset?
So, Justina, a home is considered an asset because generally, like we acknowledge that during home ownership, you have various expenses like insurance, property, taxes, interest on your mortgage loan. The value of the property that you buy, depending on what happens with the property market, this increases over time. And that generally outweighs the costs. So we consider a home loan an appreciating asset and therefore an asset.
An asset, okay.
Anyone's balance sheet.
Okay. So then another question that we had that was quite interesting, or that was quite frequent rather, is what are the tax benefits of actually owning a property?
Okay, so it differs between whether you're looking at it from an individual perspective or whether you're renting out or have an investment property. So let me explain both.
Okay.
So from an individual perspective, and this does depend if your employer has a registered housing scheme with NAMRA, so you can always check in with your employer. So if you have a registered housing scheme, up to 1/3 of your monthly repayment on your home loan can be deducted from your taxable income.
Okay.
Now, taxable income is the amount of income on which your tax is calculated. So effectively, by deducting that 1/3, you're reducing your taxable income, which means more cash in your pocket at the end of the day on a monthly basis.
Alrighty. And then for a rental, I cut you off.
For a rental property or an investment property, what you would usually do is you'd look at the expenses that you pay against that property. So for example, rates and taxes, insurance, a portion of your interest costs for the mortgage that you might have on your property, and you deduct that from your rental income.
Okay.
So when on an annual basis, when you declare your rental income that you've earned on that property, it would be net of those expenses. So again, it would reduce your taxable income amount on the property and you'd pay less tax.
Okay, we see. Good. Susan, our viewers want to know, what are the key requirements that the bank looks at for one to qualify for a home loan?
Okay, Justina, so when a customer comes into us, the things that we look at is, does the customer have a steady income?
Okay.
Then we look at what is the debt to income ratio of the customer. So how much debt does the customer have, and then how much income they have. And then we also look at their credit score. The credit score is a measurement, obviously, of their credit behavior and how they've taken up credit in the past.
Okay.
Then from the property's perspective, we look at the value of the property, the deposit amount that the customer is putting down, and then also their ability to make regular payments towards their home loan.
So it's a case by case. Just because my neighbor and I earn the same and we work the same, we do the same job, we earn the same salary, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to qualify for the same type of home loan.
Correct. Everybody has individual differences, but we've got our home loans consultants that will help a customer and guide them through the process.
Alrighty. And so then, now that we've spoken about qualifying for a home loan, could you perhaps explain to us what the process is to actually apply for a home loan or a pre-approval, and how much that costs?
Okay, so pre-approval is actually a really smart idea to do. Because essentially what you're doing is you're going to the bank before you're doing your house shopping, and you're asking the bank, how much do I qualify? So during that process, the home loan consultant will gather all the information, like we spoke about the criteria in that. They work out how much the customer qualifies, what the potential installment would be, and we actually give the customer a pre-approval letter. That helps the customer then shop around for the houses. They know exactly in the bracket range they can look at. So that really just helps, and then it also helps fast track the process, because once you found that dream house of yours, you can we've already done the credit, so it fast tracks the process.
Okay, so you don't have to start the application from the beginning.
Scratch
from scratch. There we go.
So pre-approvals, we actually don't charge a fee for pre-approvals.
Oh, lovely.
Great. If you email us at our email address, fnbpreapprovals@fnbnamibia.com.na, we will reach out to you and start that pre-approval process. And like I said, there's no cost to that.
So very seamless and costless. Yeah. Do you have an idea of the time estimation in terms of how long it would take for you to get feedback once you've sent in your application?
Well, it all depends on the customer and their application process and whether they have the documents ready and available. One of the biggest steps we found is taking a customer through that, completing their income statement and balance sheet. Yeah, so it depends customer by customer, but if they've got all the documentation and we've got a checklist available for our customers, once they've got all of that in and send it to us, then it's pretty quick, within a few days.
Can an individual obtain a home loan if they are self-employed?
Absolutely. So the requirements for that application will be slightly different. So what the bank will look for then is proof that the self-employed person have the ability to pay these regular installments. So what does that look like practically? We'll probably ask for financial statements, maybe a cash flow projection of the business to see how much the customer is projecting their income and expenses to be, really to gain a surety that they are able to repay monthly regular payments.
So that wraps up part 1 of our Q&A session today. I hope we've provided a lot of clarity on some of the home ownership questions that have come through in the past episodes, but please do stay tuned for our episode next week where we will be delving into more Q&As with Susan. Bye!